Hey everyone, I am Pat Fitzmaurice, managing editor of Betting Pros and Fantasy Pros, here to run through my favorite player props for week 17, but not before I give you a chance to win something cool. If you want one final opportunity to win a signed Isaiah McKenzie Buffalo Bills mini helmet, courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that's it. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications to be alerted to when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Well, after going 22-7 on our player props over a 4-week stretch from week 12 to week 15, we came to a screeching halt in week 16 with a 4-6 record. It could have been even worse. We were 2-6 on Saturday before hitting a couple of winners in the Packers-Dolphins game on Christmas Day. So I don't know about you. I'm eager to get the bad taste out of my mouth. So let's get to the week 17 selections. And just a reminder that all lines are courtesy of DraftKings as of Thursday afternoon. All right, we will start with Geno Smith under 1.5 touchdown passes. The under here seems like a bargain, especially when you consider that it's minus 110 on DraftKings instead of the standard minus 115. This is more about the Jets defense than about Geno himself. The Jets have allowed just 6 touchdown passes in their last 12 games, have not given up multiple touchdown passes to any team during that 12-game stretch. The last quarterback to throw multiple touchdown passes in a game against the Jets, Joe Burrow, way back in week 3. Among the quarterbacks they have held under 2 touchdown passes during this 12-game stretch, Josh Allen twice, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff. Geno has thrown multiple touchdown passes in 11 of 15 games this season, granted, but he has thrown just 1 touchdown pass in each of his last 2 games. I think the under is a pretty good percentage play here. Dalvin Cook, over 71.5 rushing yards against the Green Bay Packers. Cook has topped this number in 10 of his 15 outings this year, and he's averaging 73.8 rushing yards per game. He gets a soft matchup against the Packers, whose run defense ranks 32nd, dead last in the league in DVOA. And the Packers have faced the 6th most running back carries this season, and they're giving up 5 point yards per carry on the year. So, this is a really good matchup. And when Cook went against the Packers way back in week 1, he carried 20 times for 90 yards. So he has already hit. He's gone over this total in his previous meeting against the Packers. He's averaged 17.6 carries a game over the last 6 games, and over the last 5 games, and he's had at least 14 carries in every game during that stretch. So he has, in fact, been a workhorse. I think he gets over 71.5 rushing yards against Green Bay on Sunday. All right, Rachaad White, over 15.5 receiving yards. White has topped this number in 4 of his last 5 games. He has averaged 5.6 targets and 5 catches a game during that stretch, along with 25.8 receiving yards. So we have continued to see Tom Brady be a check down machine in his old age. He does not like to take hits. He does not like to stand around in the pocket waiting for the pass rush to get him. He will dump off to his running backs with abandon. And even though there are 2 running backs catching those passes, Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette, there's plenty to go around. He's targeted his running backs 133 times this season, more than any other quarterback except Justin Herbert of the Chargers. White's snap counts have decreased slightly in the last couple of weeks as the Buccaneers have leaned a little more heavily on the veteran Leonard Fournette, but White has still played no fewer than 29 snaps in any Buccaneers game since the start of November. And I like the talented rookie's chances to clear this relatively modest yardage total, 15.5 receiving yards. I like the over. We'll get to the rest of this week's plays in just a moment. But first, want to track all of your wagers in one place? Check out the Betting Pros Pick Tracker at bettingpros.com/pick-tracking. It syncs up with your sports books to tally which of your picks hit and which ones miss. And it gives you a live look at what the public is doing so you can use real-time tracking to determine which plays to make and which ones to fade. Get on the leaderboard and quickly become a sharp by using the free advice we have to offer at bettingpros.com/pick-tracking. Okay, let's get to the rest of this week's selections. Drake London over 58.5 receiving yards. Now, I know there was a time earlier this year when betting the over on any Drake London yardage total above 50 yards would have been tantamount to setting money on fire, but things have changed. The Falcons have made a concerted effort to get their talented rookie receiver the ball more, even though they're not throwing the ball at a high rate and continuing to be very run heavy with rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder. Over his last 3 games, London has produced 95, 70, and 96 receiving yards. He's averaged 10.7 targets and 6.7 catches over that stretch, and he has had an outrageous 38.6% target share over those last 3 Atlanta games. The Falcons face a very leaky Cardinals defense that ranks 30th in DVOA against the pass. I like London to go over 58.5 receiving yards. Let's go on to Justin Jefferson over 95.5 receiving yards. I've been hitting the Justin Jefferson overs pretty hard this season, and it's paid off. It's been a lot like Cooper Kupp last year, where it doesn't matter how high the number gets, just keep hitting it, and you're probably going to profit handsomely from it at the end of the season. So let us show fealty to King Jefferson here. He is averaging 117.1 receiving yards per game, and he has topped this number, 95.5, in 11 of his 15 games this year. So the Vikings visit Green Bay this weekend, and in his week 1 matchup against the Packers, Jefferson had 9 catches for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not only did the Packers elect not to cover Jefferson with their best cornerback in that game, Jair Alexander, but somehow the Packers wound up covering with Jefferson, or attempting to cover him, with linebackers and safeties for a lot of that game. So, schematic flaw for the Packers. They are not inclined to shadow the other team's best wide receiver with Jair Alexander. So, and we know the target volume is going to be there for Jefferson. He has seen double-digit targets in 5 straight games, and he has seen no fewer than 15 targets in any of his last 3 games, at least 15 targets in 3 straight. And last week against the Dolphins, the Packer defense let 2 wide receivers go over 100 yards. Jalen Waddle at 143, and he had that big, long touchdown catch early in the game. And Tyreek Hill also at 103 yards. So I like Justin Jefferson to clear 95.5 receiving yards. And finally, one last one, Terrence Marshall, Carolina Panthers receiver, under 35.5 receiving yards. Marshall has been making the most of meager target counts in the last couple of weeks. He was targeted 3 times against Detroit in week 16 and had 2 catches for 55 yards. The previous week, week 15, against Pittsburgh, he caught all 3 of his targets for 51 yards. Marshall has drawn just 10 targets over the last 4 games. Those are the 4 games since Sam Darnold took over quarterback for the Panthers. So only 10 targets for Marshall in those games. Yes, he's been outrageously efficient with those targets, but I am willing to bet against small sample efficiency every time. And the Panthers have been super run heavy with Darnold at the controls, running the ball on 63.2% of their offensive snaps over Darnold's 4 starts. That is like a college team, maybe even run heavier than a lot of college teams. So, yeah, I'm happy to bet against Marshall here. Also facing a good Buccaneers defense that has allowed the 10th fewest receiving yards to wide receivers. And in an earlier week 7 meeting with the Bucs, Marshall, again, just 3 targets, 2 catches for 31 yards. So I'm betting Terrence Marshall under 35.5 receiving yards. Let's recap all of this week's plays. Geno Smith under 1.5 touchdown passes. Dalvin Cook over 71.5 rushing yards. Rachaad White over 15.5 receiving yards. Drake London over 58.5 receiving yards. Justin Jefferson over 95.5 receiving yards, and Terrence Marshall under 35.5 receiving yards. That's going to do it for the Week 17 plays, everyone. We have reached the end of 2022. I want to wish you all a very happy new year. May 2023 be prosperous for you, and may you finish the year on a high note with some victories. Good luck, everyone. See you later.